Yeah. And your idea of it takes 110% is not my idea of taking 110%.
Right. Oh,
it doesn't
sure.
take 110%. Right. And I think that can scare people. Be like, it's not the effort. It's work smarter, not harder.
What up, family? Welcome to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately, right now, don't wait, in the present moment, apply them to your life for success. These podcasts will always be entertaining, informative, and encouraging. Yes, I switched the words around because we're trying to change it up. But I am on here with the queen of my heart, the beautiful, intelligent, gorgeous, spirit-filled, phenomenal, awesome woman of God, Diana Acosta-Bacon.
Hey, babe.
Hey, boo. How are you?
Change things up a little bit.
Yeah,
hey.
Boo. Yeah.
New year, new me.
That's right. Say this, girl.
Same old me, but a brand new thoughts.
This
is my, well, actually, I started this thing last year, technically, not this year, but it's my year of and. So why don't you finish your intro, babe?
Oh, no, that was the intro, honey. We're going to just jump on up in here. Yes.
So intro for me of this entering or into this new year. I'm finally don't have to lie on the down low. I lied last year so I can get my senior discount. I admit it to all people that never checked my ID because they didn't want to be rude and check. First of all, not nice. You should have checked. You should have said, you look so young. You cannot be 55. But the truth is, I wasn't. And the truth is, now I am. So, woohoo, for me, I no longer have to lie.
Welcome
forward,
to the AARP generation.
Yeah. You can be 30 and be an AARP, bro.
Hey.
Just so you know, you can be 30, have AARP. But I no longer have to lie about my senior discount.
Yes,
so I'm excited about that. My new year keeps me honest. So anyway, that's a good thing.
That is a good
so
thing.
Let me tell you about my year of and rather than or, because I encourage everybody to enter this new season and make it a year of and rather than or.
Okay, I like it.
Tell you what that means.
Bring it on, babe.
Let me give you an example. Maybe we go after dinner. And everyone or anyone who knows me well knows I love dessert. I don't have to eat a lot of it, but I need to eat dessert. Even if it's literally 2 bites. I am the person that can have 1 chip. I am the person that can practice some level of self-control.
I like how you stutter.
Semblance of it. But my year of and is an example is, would you like cake or ice cream? I don't want or. I want cake and ice cream. There's one example. Now, I don't have to have a full piece of cake because knowing me, I won't eat a full cake.
You are correct.
I will take half a piece of cake and 1 scoop of ice cream.
Yes.
I don't want or. I want and.
And right on.
Would you like rice or potatoes? Why don't I have a half portion of rice and a half a portion of potatoes? Because I don't want or, I want and.
All right, girl. Okay, 2025. And.
Would you like to go for a bike ride or would you like to go for a walk? I want to go for a bike ride and then park our bikes, lock them, and go for a walk into the park. Perhaps.
Right on, babe. Right on.
Let's be encouraged and find ways that we can make it a year of and rather than or. Why do you have to do one over the other when you have that feeling? Maybe it's just me. Like, why do I have to be deprived? I can cut them both in half and do and rather than or. I can do both and limit each one.
Right.
Whether it be a serving of food, whether it be an experience to go out, whether it be an event, whether it be what I do today. Like, I don't have to finish all the laundry.
Right.
Like, mentally, I have like 4 loads of laundry to do, but I also have to make dinner, and I'm overwhelmed because that's a full day of work for me.
Right.
Well, I can do 2 loads of laundry, and I can make dinner for tonight.
Right.
Rather than make dinner for 2 days.
Right.
Like a big So that's different examples. So I don't know how can you incorporate that into your life, babe?
Oh, that's a good question, babe, because I think 2025 for me is going to be an additional. So giving 110%, and most people think you can't do that, but you actually can. It's actually giving more. It's taking that one more step. It's doing that one more rep. It's doing that one more thought of just saying, let me do a little bit extra than what I usually do. Because I want to really achieve everything that I believe in my heart God wants to give me this year. And it's going to take a little bit extra. It don't have to be a lot, but it's a little bit extra. But I think it is the, work out and watch the diet. I think it is hustle and make the money and save and invest it into different things. I think it is spending time with my queen, going to do maybe a movie and we go out to dinner. So I think it's going to be the ands in that aspect. I think it is reading the book and listening to the audiobook sometimes, because sometimes reading it, which I love, still touching the paper, the book, and still feels good. At the same time, I can doubly get the impact of what that book is saying if I get the audiobook version of it too and listen to it. So I can do both, read and listen. So it's a lot of ands in there we can do in this new year.
Yeah, and we have different levels of learning. And
we sure do.
Absorbing.
Yeah.
So, and retaining. So I do, like, for me, it's harder for me to read, so I have to limit my reading.
Right.
Just because of the brain surgeries, I have limited ability to read extended periods, maybe a few lines at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But then but the point is I can still read a little bit, enough.
Yeah.
But I have to pull back before I get overwhelmed and then ruin my headache for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, if your eyes are being strained and it's causing you to have a headache, put yourself a limit, 10 minutes. Even though if your eyes feel good when you're done, but you can be done. Just put a audiobook on. And I tend to either, doodle or do some sort of craft while I'm listening.
Right.
Whether that be my laundry, or whether that be cooking, or whether that be drawing or painting or sewing. Because it helps. Also, they did studies where it helps if you do. That's where they have those little games that the kids play. Those little, what do you call those?
Widgets.
Fidgets. It's called fidgets. When you fidget with something, when you're playing with your hands, and you go to even some people who are speaking. We're talking like adults situation. They put Play-Doh in front of people because they says that doing something with your hands helps retain more information. So the and really works well here.
Right.
I can paint a picture and listen to an audiobook or a documentary or whatever you want to listen to. But that's why it's the same thing. We don't watch TV or listen. Most of us watch and listen. Or read. If you have the sound down, then you are reading and watching. So you're engaging two parts of your learning. So it's interesting because I think without realizing we're doing a lot of ands, but I want to be more intentional as I move forward. When people give me options, which options are great, but when at all possible, and I think for the most part it is possible to step into life saying I need and I'm looking for and opportunities, not or opportunities.
Right. Yeah, that's a great way to look at that. I love that one. Yeah, I really love that one because I really believe there's going to be a lot more opportunities for us in this new year, and it's always just staying open to the opportunities and not things that we're used to doing. I think it's things that's going to make us a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to make us comfortable enough to want to do it, but at the same time, it's going to get us out of our comfort zone to actually do it. So I think that's going to be really cool in this new year coming up.
Yeah, and that's, people say that a lot, and I have issues a little bit with out of my comfort zone. I think it's more being intentional than being out of your comfort zone. So if you say by the end of this year, I want to go see my family in wherever they live, or take a vacation. Well, I want to do both.
Oh yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Your family isn't the vacation you necessarily want or need. You might want a vacation just like you and I. We want to take our little vacation, and I want to go see my family.
Right,
we
for
have
sure.
To fly in a plane for both. Okay, well, I'm not going to get out of my comfort zone and do things that like sell things or have to work extra. That's just being intentional. Okay, so if we want to accomplish by the end of this year, taking a vacation and going to see my family, that just means what extra is required of us.
Right.
That means more hours at work is required of us. That means more pulling back in certain, maybe going out to eat or
Yeah.
going for a drive is required of us. But and is possible.
Yeah.
Like when you're saying go watch a movie and go out to dinner, you can make dinner at home. You
Oh,
can,
yeah, for
you
sure.
can make a picnic. When's the last time you made a picnic from food you had at home, packed it up, and went to the park? People don't do that anymore.
Right.
And
Right.
I remember I grew up in New York. We used to do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I miss that. And we've done it here a few times, but it's never enough.
Mm.
You know? It's never enough because
Right.
it takes more work. Like, just eat at home. I don't want to pack it home. But it's an experience that you're doing, and it's possible to do it. Take your laptop out. If you have a Hulu or a Netflix, you can download free movies.
Right.
Guess what? You can watch a movie and go out to eat. Go to a park or something, and you can do both. And it costs you no more than what you would be spending at home,
Right.
which is pretty much nothing.
Lay a blanket on the ground and
Just
bring out some food.
Being intentional
Right.
and creative about how can I incorporate and rather than or into my life. I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. I just got to figure out how to do it.
How to do it.
And that's it. It just takes a little bit more thought.
Yeah, and I love how you were saying that, and I was thinking like, our goals are. I love how they blend it because you said we can do both but we might have to do a little extra, and I was like, that's that 110% part of like man, it's just some more of knowing like, man, we can do this. It's just finding out and finagling ways of making sure it happens.
Yeah. And your idea of it takes 110% is not my idea of taking 110%.
Right. Oh,
it doesn't
sure.
take 110%. Right. And I think that can scare people. Be like, it's not the effort. It's work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I want to talk to you about.
Right.
Maybe in the next. I want to talk to you about next time. We're going to talk. We're going to have a little conversation about: are you a thinker or a talker? Because that's where our and or come in, and so many other aspects of stepping into our future more intentional. It doesn't take 110% for me to do more.
Right.
It takes me planning and being intentional about the time that I have, so I don't exude any more energy and ruin the next day after for me.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying
I can exude just as much energy into doing this,
Yeah.
but I am counting the cost of what it takes to do one thing. It's not going to take away from the other. If I give 110% to anything, that means I have nothing left to give anybody else,
for the next
and
couple
I
days,
have to come first.
Right.
So no, I'm not giving 110%, and I'm being honest about it.
Right.
Because
And that's good. Yeah.
just like at work, people are like, you got to go and give 100% at work, and be like, no, I'm not, because that means my family gets my fumes.
Right.
I am not doing that. So I have to be intentional about, you're going to get my full attention. You're going to get my full effort, but you're not getting 110% because I literally will have nothing left.
Nothing
Right?
left.
I can't
Right.
I won't even have the energy to drive home.
Yeah.
And then people check out. I guarantee almost everyone listening to this podcast at some point in their life, if not most points of their life, drive home and then get home and be like, I have no memory of how I got here. I have no memory of what roads I took. You're in autopilot.
Right. And that's
you're
not a good spot to be in.
You don't even know. It's dangerous. And we think we're being safe, but we're so zoned out because we're so exhausted mentally and physically because you maybe gave what, in your opinion, is 110%. So be mindful. What that means for you might be different of what it actually means.
Right. And that's where each person has to do an evaluation on themselves, because a lot of people aren't even given 60 to 70% up at anything. So it is just for them, guess what? They need to shoot it up to 100, just to get to, because there's some things that they really want. And then guess what? We got to put that extra effort in there to get it. Yeah. It ain't gonna always come just, it can't be sometimes not just knowing and putting a different, let me work smarter, not harder. Sometimes it is for this season. Sometimes it is that working harder because you got to get it. Yeah. And that's, like I said, that's the beauty of having two different perspectives on it. And none of them are wrong. It's just what's best for you.
Yeah. So in a perfect world, we are employed doing what we love. So it's not an effort to work harder. We enjoy what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to be more intentional about how I invest my time
Yeah.
into doing that. So, yeah.
So I want to hear more about this talk to think and think to talk. Can you go in a little bit more detail, my love?
Okay. So some of us, and I think this is really, really important in a relationship, and it could be any relationship. It could be for our children, in partnership, friendships. Some of us think to talkers, and some of us are talk to thinkers. So it could be really frustrating to those who are talk to thinkers when you're dealing with somebody who is
think to talker.
A think to talk. Or vice versa, specifically. And I think this is a perfect example for you, because you have been, in the beginning, I want to say the first maybe even 8 years of our marriage, you were really frustrated with me when it came to, I think I have both aspects, but I think for the most part, I am a talk to think. And one example would be, oh my God, you used to get so mad at me. Oh, this is so funny. You used to be so mad at me because I'd be like, ooh, babe.
Oh, yeah.
So this is my example of talk to think. Oh, babe, I am craving sushi today. Oh, but I really am thinking about, do you remember that place? I think it's called Sushi. We used to go to Sachiko Sushi. We still do, and I love that place. But we go maybe once a year on my I Didn't Die anniversary for my first or second brain surgery. Usually, that's our spot because that's what I always wanted. So back to my example. So, babe, I'm really craving some sushi today, but oh my God, I really could go for a birria taco too. Remember that food truck that we saw? So that food truck is, oh my God, that was so good. That was called Yummylicious, and they closed it. I don't know where they're at. Oh my gosh. And a cheeseburger. Oh my God. So Applebee's is doing a special right now, like $9.99 or something. Like, no, I'm not affiliated, but if they want to give me money to advertise for them, I will. So cheeseburger and French fries. So yeah, I wanted like a table. I wanted a cheeseburger from Applebee's or Denny's. I don't mind Denny's. Denny's is pretty good too, because Denny's got some pretty good fries. But Jack in the Box fries are so much better, like the curly fries. So yeah, my perfect world. Let's get some sushi. I wanna get a birria taco from Yummylicious. I wouldn't mind a bite of cheeseburger and some French fries from Jack in the Box. And oh my gosh, I like Dairy Queen, but remember that one place we went with Susan and Mark? Frost. Oh, gelato.
Frost. Yeah, gelato.
I want a good gelato. So there's like 3 different gelato places in Tucson. I've heard of one. So at this point, you're frustrated. You're like, what do you want? So I'm thinking, I'm talking to think. What do you think? You're pissed off at this point, because now when I said the first one, you're usually like, you're zoned in.
I'm locked in.
You're locked in.
Sushi, yeah.
And you know where we're going and everything. Right?
Right.
It doesn't take you a lot of thought a lot of talking to think what you want to eat. You're going to go with the first place. You're not going to complicate it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking it through to think about which one I want more.
Right. And
to help you decide. And I'm saying it to you, what do you want? Now you're pissed because I've given you 7 options.
Right.
What do you want to eat, babe?
Yeah. And you be like, Lord have mercy. Yeah, because I'm big on wherever we say we going, I lock in on, yes, that's where we going. My mouth starts salivating towards that thing that we said we wanted to go to. Sweet. And then here we go with the, okay, what about? I'm like, Lord have mercy. Can this woman just please pick a doggone restaurant so we can go eat? But you do, but think about it. You do have those tastes for, I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that, I want a little bit of this. But you only think to yourself, because remember you just said it at the beginning of this year, your theme is, versus, okay, this is the one place we going and that's where we're going to lock in and we're going to do that. So yes, you can definitely see where that would.
So yeah, I'm talking
place. To
think about, so I'm hearing myself talk and I'm thinking about where I want to focus in, what I really want to do. So I'm talking to make sense. I'm talking to decide. I'm talking for you to give me your insight. I'm talking for you to be like, ooh, actually, all that sounds good, but let's do this today. But I need to talk it out. And a lot of women, because we use much more words than men, not all women. But a lot of women like to talk things out. And then as we're talking through it, we recognize solutions. We identify problems where we can improve or disapprove or whatever. But it helps us refine our thinking into doing what our next decision is going to be. Yeah. Right? But I'm talking it out.
Right.
And then you tend to be more of a think to talkers. So you're gonna make your decision in your own head before you be like, let's go to sushi. You're zoned in. I said the first word. Your thought went right to the place. You know how to drive. You you thought about the parking spot. You probably are already zoned in.
Correct.
But I'm working on my third option right now because I want a little bit of all of it. So there I am, a talk to thinker.
Yeah.
But again, this is not always every single time.
Right.
But recognizing the differences in, are you talking to think? Mm-hmm. Because if we stop and pause, it's not getting pissed off at the other person because they're like, just make a freaking decision, woman. It's not. Like, I'm talking to think about. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah, but what's been really cool, though, I've incorporated that into my teaching. So when I'm teaching somewhere and we're having dialogue with the people that I'm teaching, I've been having them like, okay, I don't want y'all just to think it. I want y'all to say it out loud because I want you to hear yourself processing the information. Because a lot of times we be thinking stuff, but we don't get a chance to really process the information we've been thinking. We just keep on resonating over and over again. And sometimes you need to hear it to see how wonderful of an idea it is, or you need to see how jacked up of an idea it is because you verbally said it out loud. And that's been helping people really get more from what they've been needing to get because they've been talking it out and processing it as they've been processing it better because they've been talking it out loud.
And I think that's the important part of people. Some people will have a talk to think, are more talk to thinkers. Like, we need to talk this out. And that's the good part about therapy.
Yes.
Listen to what you're saying. And I know that in my conversations with a lot of people, I'm like, did you hear what you're saying? Because sometimes they'll be doing something contrary to what they're saying.
Right.
But saying, I want this, but you are already doing that thing. But in this example, it can cause a lot of frustration in marriages and partnerships and friendships and child to parent when you recognize, okay, right now they're talking to think about what they want to do. They haven't decided. They're processing. They're trying to identify which one of those things they really want to do. So they're talking to think. And then sometimes before I even mention things to you, I'm a think to talker. I'm going to think because I like to look up, like in the I forgot what that word was when what is that place? It's not the numerology, but I'm a 4, right? I'm a feeler. I'm going to investigate things. So I before I make a decision, like I do a lot of projects, for instance. I love to create things, whether it be sewing or painting. But before I physically sit down to even cook anything, whatever I'm creating, I have to think about what I'm doing. I have to think about what do I need? What do I have in the house? What ingredients do I have? And now I'll try and create a recipe based on that. So I'm thinking it through before I talk and be like, oh, I'm going to make this. So I have put so much thought, so much investigating, so many preparation beforehand. So there's so many times in all of our lives where we have to be think to talkers. We're think to talkers. But sometimes when we feel overwhelmed because we've given too much at work with someone else, just been in we didn't sleep well. There's so many times where we need to talk to think. Yeah. So that's the good thing. In the beginning of our marriage, I remember those conversations we've had, and it was another funny one because I remember you just blew up, and it was so funny to me. I mean, now in retrospect, where I called you in the beginning of our marriage and I said, we need to talk. Yeah. And you're like, oh, 12 hours of your shift.
Yeah. Ooh, I was going crazy thinking about what in the world did she want to talk about? Man, did I make the bed? Did I put my shoes away? Did I put my clothes up? Okay, did I wash the dishes? Did I leave toothpaste out on the cabinet? And I smeared some toothpaste on the cabinet, didn't clean it up? Did I put my shaving cream up? Did I take out the trash? Did I send some kids the school money? I was all over the place. And then come to find out.
No, well, first you text me like, tell me, talk now. And I was like, I can't right now. Right. When you get home, we just need to talk. But you had been trained by society and by bad previous experiences to believe that was a negative statement to say, we need to talk. Right. Or maybe I could have rephrased it into I need to talk, but either way would have been negative to you.
Yeah, and I think about how many men are, hitting their phones right now as they listen to this podcast, or they slapping their car radio talking about, preach it, brother, preach it. And I ain't justifying how I used to act, but most men understand clearly what I'm talking about.
And I think a lot of the women would too.
Yeah.
The woman would think, he doesn't love me anymore. He's leaving me. He's done this. I knew this. I knew it couldn't last. I knew I did something wrong. I knew I wasn't worthy of love. Women have a different mentality. They think we have abandonment things where you'd be like, you're leaving. Okay, fine, bye. Like now I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm going to change the locks. I'm like, but my instincts wasn't that. My instinct was, I need to think some things through.
Right.
You walked in that door at the end of your shift. You grabbed 2 chairs. You like, sit down. You put a chair right in front of me. You were like knee to knee, and you bent over. Your elbows were on your knees, and you said, "Talk." And I was like, "Whoa, bro! Like, back up a little bit.
Right.
What is going on with you? Why are you so like? I'm like, what's going on?" And you were frustrated because you had spent, unbeknownst to me, because I'm like, I just said I need
over
to,
10 hours.
Unbeknownst to me, I did not do it intentionally. I simply just said we need to talk. So, like most couples, we had just been working, living, taking care of the kids. We're in our own lane doing what we need to do, being responsible members of society and responsible parents. And we were just living life. But, life gets busy and life be lifing all the time. So I just said I need to talk. So there's some stuff going on at my work. I need to kind of process some issues I have with this hours. Do I want to change shifts? Do I have problems with my boss? We talked about a couple of months ago, we said, oh, let's take a vacation, but we never discussed where or when or how that vacation looks. Are we driving somewhere? Are we flying somewhere? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go visit a family member and mooch off of their, I mean, visit my family members? Yeah, mooch off of their free housing while we're there, like stay with our family.
Right.
What does that vacation look like? And then there was some stuff at home, like financially, do we need to put some money away for car repair? Like
Right.
I needed to talk because there were so many issues that we never sat down, and they were all just swimming around in my head. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that. I think at any given time, I'm assuming men are not that different from women in the aspect of there's little compartments in our mind that we are always thinking of so many things. I know for me as a woman, I'm thinking about 100 different things at the same time, but I never but it's hard to focus on all of it. So when people are like, what are you thinking about? I'm like, oh my gosh, a lot of things. I was thinking, usually nothing to do with what you think I'm thinking about.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to make this one yerba. I have to get these one herbs. So I want to make this one concoction of tea. Oh, and I'm going to make a salve. So I got fresh rosemary. And that's what I'm thinking. Oh, I want to sew this new jacket. I have this fabric. And you're thinking about, she's quiet, so she must be thinking something negative. Like, what is society has bad experiences in society have taught us.
Right.
I'm not thinking anything about you or negative. I'm thinking about things I want to create or do, right? So I just wanted to talk to you and have help with resolutions and answers so I can get one of those thoughts out of my head.
Right.
Like, what do you think about this? Am I being sensitive when it comes to work and my boss and the situation and scheduling? And you'd be like, well, from the outside, this is what I think. Or vacation. Okay, this is something. What do we want to do? Let's now. And that once we did that, check off, it's out of my mind.
Yeah.
So that was a positive for me. That's all I wanted to talk about.
Right.
You had to get unknotted, and then I don't know how long it took you to de-wind yourself because you were all wound up because of, again, past experiences, negative experiences, and society has taught us that is bad. Like talking isn't negative; it just means let's verbally process some thoughts that are in my head.
And then knowing that the anger wasn't really anger; it was not turned into embarrassment, insecurity, shame, guilt. All that, so the anger, which was the overall cover up to it, really was secondary to what was really going on. Was oh man, we early in our marriage, and she might see something that she's not willing to compromise, and it's going to jeopardize our marriage, and so it's all that other stuff, even though it was covered up as anger. So you always have to understand, like, what's that underlying issue of what makes a person, trip when they hear, we need to talk. Yeah, it's all the other stuff up under it. So it's very challenging. That's the cool part about sitting down and actually talking the stuff out once again, because you get to hear, what's the process of how you're thinking in that moment.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with asking and being vulnerable and saying, is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me add on to that. We need to talk. Okay, I hear you. But is everything okay? Is there something that you need me to do? Like, first, before we talk. Like, oh, no. I just want to talk through some stuff that's been in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe take that second step. If you would have approached it that way. But, again, we were early in our marriage. We were learning each other. And, but moving forward, now we both know I have to give a little, hey, everything's okay. But can we talk when you get home? Now he knows that just means I have some thoughts I want to process. Yeah. And I might need an outside perspective on it because I trust him. And, you want to get advice from somebody who loves you and who wants the best for you.
Right.
And that's it. But yeah, being transparent, and I appreciate that with you, is really important because not just men need to be transparent. We all need to be transparent.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you want the number one rule for me, not rule, but one of the best words of advice I can give people in relationships would be to let your guard down, which is one of the hardest things to do because you've been hurt. We've all been hurt. We are wounded. We are worried. We are scared. We always think we did something wrong or fine, leave, But the light of God, the light of clarity cannot shine through if we are not transparent.
Right.
Obviously, the windows let the sun shine through because they are transparent. Could you imagine if you put a block, like put your walls down, the light can't get through. We can't have revelation in anything. Mm-hmm. So, put your guard down on a lot of stuff. So, think to talk or talk to think. So, in your relationships where you get frustrated, pause for a second when they're talking about all these ideas about where you want to go eat or what you want to go do or where we can go on vacation or what outfit should I wear. Like, they might just be talking to think.
Right.
Don't get frustrated with them. Maybe you're thinking and have thought through and you're just going to put something on because you've already thought about it before you even talked about it.
Yes. So we want this to be one of your best Valentines you've ever had. So that's why we're talking about this stuff because, in a couple of days, 2 days, y'all, it'll be that sweet Valentine's Day thing. I would hate that you have to wait for a special date on a calendar to tell you how much you should love the person that you're in a relationship with. Me and my wife always have that. You like, why do people have to have a calendar tell me that it's a special day? When the relationship that you're in, every day is special when you're with that person. But just in case, brothers, you got 2 days to get your stuff together so you can have a phenomenal Valentine's Day. And it could be just, guess what, you draw on closer together from knowing this technique of talking to think or thinking to talk. Babe, I love you. I'm so grateful you did this episode with me. And I can't wait to have you do way more episodes with me. Thank you so much.
I love you too. Thank you.
Guys, love you. This is the Bacon Biz Podcast. We don't want nothing but love for you. God bless. All right. What's up, family? It's your boy, John Bacon from the Bacon Biz Podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook, actually. It's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife. This is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. So you can pick that up on Amazon, also on audiobook. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1, ST.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless.